U.S. stocks finished mixed Thursday, with the Dow rising about 0.2%, the S&P 500 adding 0.4, and the Nasdaq slipping marginally. Data showed U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April, while a separate report showed producer price inflation unexpectedly fell last month. That followed a relatively tame consumer price reading earlier in the week. But John Creekmur, Chief Investment Officer with Creekmur Wealth Advisors, said investors are still waiting for more data to see how the economic picture is developing.
Right now, the market's trying to figure things out. We do foresee some instability throughout the rest of the summertime. We're going to have to see how the economic numbers play out, both from employment, sales, and then also with the overall economy. Are we GDP? Are we expanding? Are we retracting a little bit? That'll give us some gauge on where things are going. Right now, caution is the most important word of the day.
Stocks on the move included Cisco Systems, which jumped almost 5% after the networking company raised its annual forecast, driven by the artificial intelligence boom. Shares of United Health plunged almost 11% to a 5-year low after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Department of Justice was conducting a criminal investigation into the company for possible Medicare fraud. United Health said it had not been informed of a criminal probe by federal prosecutors. And shares of Walmart ended lower but recovered from steeper losses earlier in the session after the retail giant warned it would start raising prices later this month due to tariffs, even after first quarter U.S. comparable sales beat expectations.
Donald Trump's Gulf tour took him to the United Arab Emirates on Thursday, and the visit was marked by the signing of more deals, valued in all at $200 billion. That followed a pledge by the UAE in March to invest some $1.4 trillion in the US over 10 years. Trump hailed that deal in a meeting with country President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan.
And all I could say is thank you very much. We will work very hard to deserve it.
Among the deals announced Thursday was another order for Boeing. UAE airline Etihad said it would buy 28 big jets from the aerospace giant, including 787s and 777s. That followed news of Boeing's biggest ever order for wide-body jets a day before, when Trump visited Qatar. Also finalised in Abu Dhabi was a plan for the largest AI campus outside the US to be built in the UAE. Reuters sources said the deal would give the country expanded access to AI chips from NVIDIA. Company boss Jensen Huang was seen conversing with Trump at the palace on Thursday. A White House fact sheet said other deals included a partnership between US and UAE oil firms to expand oil and gas production. It valued that agreement at $60 billion. However, US lawmakers, including Bernie Sanders, on Thursday sought to block further arms sales to the country. That's over allegations that UAE forces are involved in Sudan's civil war.
Shares of Walmart fell as much as 5% Thursday morning after executives said the retail giant, known for its advertising of low prices, will have to start raising them later this month due to the high cost of tariffs. The announcement is a clear signal that U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war is filtering through to the American economy, even to a company noted for its ability to manage costs more aggressively than rivals to keep prices low. Walmart also declined to provide a profit forecast for the second quarter, even as the company's U.S. comparable sales surpassed expectations in the first quarter. It also posted a quarterly profit that topped estimates. U.S. shoppers will start to see prices rise at the end of May and certainly in June, Walmart's chief financial officer John David Rainey said in a CNBC interview. On a post-earnings call with analysts, he said the retailer would also have to cut back on orders as it considers price elasticity. As the largest importer of container goods in the United States, Walmart is heavily exposed to tariffs. Walmart's CEO Doug McMillon said the retailer would not be able to absorb all the tariff costs because of narrow retail margins. However, he said he was committed to ensuring that tariff-related costs on general merchandise, which come primarily from China, do not drive food prices higher. Separately, a report from the Commerce Department said U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April. It showed that a boost from households front-loading car purchases ahead of tariffs was fading. and that households pulled back on other spending, including on airline tickets and hotel stays due to economic uncertainty.
Halloween comes in October, but manufacturer Lo Xiaobo says the golden time to make spooky decorations in China starts in March, up until the end of September. This year, though, has seen US buyers of frightful decor scared into suspending or delaying their orders. Last month, President Donald Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports hit 145%. That means, for people like Lo, October 31st could be all trick and no treat. His family has made Halloween decorations in the eastern Chinese city of Yiwu for 28 years. And while a 90-day pause in the US-China trade war means tariffs have gone from sky-high to 30%, for Lo, the damage has already been done.
I don't think just because they lowered tariffs that we should be happy, because they have already delayed our production time. For example, in a normal quarter, let's say these 2 months, I can produce about $69,000 worth of goods. But now I only have $28,000.
Lowe's business relies on the US for a fifth of its sales. Now he says they'll have to scramble to get their hanging skeletons and costume props to America in time for Halloween. He also warned customers weighing up the lower 30% tariffs that his business cannot finish more complex made-to-order products fast enough.
Of course, if you take this 6-month period and then you subtract 2 months of tariffs, then there are only 4 months left. And sorry, we really can't make it in time.
Another exporter of Halloween masks, who only gave her surname Ma, said she was hopeful that customers would now place orders. Yet she believes her overall export business turnover will be much lower than last year.
Right now, if a customer wants to place an order, it won't be sent until June or July. If they want it immediately, it won't make it because we don't keep any stock. Our factory only makes custom orders. We don't keep any stock for Halloween. Shipping abroad takes 40 days to about 2 months because Halloween is in October. If you ship too late, it won't make it.
China manufactures the majority of festive decorations the US buys, not just for Halloween, but for other events such as the 4th of July and Christmas.
From markets celebrating a trade truce to what happened when Donald Trump went on tour, this is the week in numbers. 30% is now the US tariff on imports from China, way down on the 145% that was previously imposed. Meanwhile, Chinese duties on US goods are down to 10%. The big drops came after talks between the two sides, with the US team led by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause.
The news cheered markets, but economists pointed out that tariffs remain much higher than they were before Donald Trump kicked off a trade war. $96 billion is the value the White House put on a record order for Boeing wide-body jets placed by Qatar Airways, agreed while Trump visited Gulf states. The tour saw a host of deals signed in sectors from AI to oil. In the United Arab Emirates, Trump hailed the country's earlier pledge to invest $1.4 trillion in the US over 10 years.
And all I could say is thank you very much. We will work very hard to deserve it.
0.7% was the surprise jump in UK growth over the first quarter. That marked a rare boost for embattled Finance Minister Rachel Reeves. But economists warn that the numbers may have been flattered by businesses rushing to stock up before Trump's tariffs kicked in. 11,000 is the number of new job cuts at Nissan. The Japanese auto giant will also close 7 factories as it tries to cut costs. Nissan has faced years of turmoil and saw its profits all but wiped out over the past year. Analysts say the firm's aging model lineup means a recovery won't come quick. And 7% was the initial drop for shares in Alibaba after the e-commerce titan missed forecasts. Chinese retailers have been rocked by a price war as wary consumers hunt for deep discounts. Alibaba and rivals are also spending big to grab share in the market for so-called instant retail. That's when products are delivered in 60 minutes or less.
Well, good morning and happy Friday as we take a look at your weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Thunderstorms this morning giving way to partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Temperatures today in the low 80s. Scattered thunderstorms early on tonight, cloudy skies after midnight with lows in the low 60s. Saturday rain, upper 60s for a high. Sunday cloudy, upper 50s. Monday partly cloudy, low 60s. And Tuesday partly cloudy with temperatures in the mid 60s. Area temperatures this morning, Meadville checking in at 63 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 61. Titusville 63. Franklin 65. Oil City 65 degrees here at 6:50. This is the Morning Drill. All right, Friday morning. Mentioned in that forecast, some showers, thunderstorms rolling through early this morning. You said you noticed it.
At like 5, they were like, it looked like there was a utility truck outside. That was my fear. Like there's a utility truck outside and there were flashing lights. So I'm like, oh gosh. So I looked to see if our power was still on. Yes, I'm like, this is weird. So I opened the window and you could see like across the sky, like the lightning.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, it was gorgeous.
There's a live shot of Pittsburgh this morning.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
We have a kid heading in that direction. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's all right. I think it's going to calm down a little bit. So, yeah, you may have wakened to a nice light show this morning. So,
yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got a really busy morning ahead.
You do. Holy cannoli.
I know. We've got Magisterial District Justice Judge candidate Ben Leach joining us.
Awesome.
We've got, and we're also going to have Heather Roberts on. We also have our friends from the Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home coming in. Joe and Jack will be with us. Emily Altomare from the Oil Region Alliance will be with us. Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson will be with us.
Like quite the lineup. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Man.
Get it all in here on a Friday.
There you go.
But, yeah, looking forward. We're going to get into birthdays and what we're celebrating here this morning. Not just what we're celebrating today, but through the weekend. So you've got plenty to get ready for. There's people that write this stuff down so they know what to celebrate, just so you know.
I know. We'll figure out what we're going to celebrate.
I always like walking in on a conversation like, oh, today's, Nicole Day. I heard Amy say it was Nicole Day.
Yeah.
So everybody else is like, okay.
Today's my day. My brother's day was sometime last week, so I actually texted
Anthony?
him. Yeah, there was an Anthony Day.
So they probably think you're crazy. Like, how do you know this?
Does she have nothing better to do than Google when my day is?
That's right.
Gosh.
That's right. So, yeah, we can get into it. Today's the 16th day here in the month of May, so
yeah,
rolling through. All right, let's start with birthdays here, and then we'll get into what we're celebrating today and through the weekend.
So I'm going to be like a little bit early on this one too because it hits on Sunday, but our baby turned 16 on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I know, right? So happy birthday, Kyle.
I met him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, we had a little party last night. That was, the kid at the head of the table. That was a little bit.
Oh, that was Sam? Okay,
yeah.
I'll have to say hi to him.
So, all right, sounds good. All right, actor Danny Trejo is 81. Actor Pierce Brosnan is 72. Actress Deborah Winger is 70. Singer Janet Jackson is 59. Actor David Baran is 56. And actress Tori Spelling is 52. Oh, sorry. Megan Fox is 39 today.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Now, who's she?
Yeah, exactly.
She's, I don't say a little on the crazy side. That might not be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's fair. We're like from a distance. We can call her crazy. I mean, to normal people who live a normal life, a Monday through Friday, normal, life. Yeah, she's a bit cray-cray.
Okay.
It's okay. She makes me feel good about
She was
myself.
in
She's gorgeous, but she makes
Transformer
me feel good
movies, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for birthdays?
It is.
All right. Happy birthday to those folks. Happy birthday to you if today happens to be your birthday from all of us. Now let's find out what we're celebrating here today.
All right. Well, it might not be the right day to do this, but Bike to School Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. Drawing Day, General Prayer Day, International Day of Light, International Virtual Assistant Day, National Barbecue Day, National Biographers Day, National Defense Transportation Day, National Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day, National Honor Our Elders Day, National Love a Tree Day, National Mimosa Day. I'll be celebrating that all weekend. National Piercing Day, National Pizza Party Day.
Is that coffee in your cup now?
It is. It is.
Just asking. Okay.
Pizza Party Day.
Today's Pizza Party Day.
Pizza Party Day, yeah. I know, right? National Sea Monkey Day, Nickel Day, Ride a Unicycle Day, Shades Day, Waiters Day, Walk Safely to School Day, Wear Purple for Peace Day, American Craft Beer Week, National Law Week, NASCAR Week, and that's all for today. Are you ready for tomorrow?
You know, I always struggle because I think, we try to get out and go for walks, and, we're both in jobs where we're moving a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's not like there's no exercise in our lives. But, those days where it's like, I got to start watching what we're meeting. And those are the days where you're like, hey, it's we're doing homemade pizza, or we're going to order pizza. And I just, I can't refuse a slice.
No, sorry.
So we got to work on that.
Or 3, or 4.
Yeah, if it's, why don't you say we're having
we have to
broccoli
get on the same
for dinner?
page here, okay?
I know.
I have to learn to starve you on the right day.
That's right.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Tomorrow, Armed Forces Day, Culture Freedom Day, International Child Helpline Day, International Heritage Breeds Day, National Cherry Cobbler Day, National Graduation Tassel Day, National Idaho Day, National Learn to Swim Day, National Linda Day, National Mushroom Hunting Day, National Pink Fix Day, National River Cleanup Day, National Walnut Day, NF Awareness Day, Pack Rat Day, Pinot Grigio Day, there's another one, Plant a Lemon Tree Day, Preakness Steaks, World Fiddle Day.
Oh, Preakness is tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so excited. See that twitch? World Hypertension Day, World Information Society Day, World Whiskey Day, National Donut Week. That starts tomorrow. National Smile Month, and that is all.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, we celebrate Emergency Medical Services Day, I Love Reese's Day, International AIDS Candlelight Memorial, International Museum Day, Mother Whistler Day, National Brock Day, National Cheese Souffle Day, National Marvin Day, National No Dirty Dishes Day, National Visit Your Relatives Day, Rural Life Sunday, Send an Electronic Greeting Card Day, Stepmother's Day, Take Your Parents to the Playground Day, World AIDS Vaccine Day, World Baking Day, National EMS Week, Public Works Week. And that's it.
That's a lot.
I'm done.
All right, so find something there to celebrate. Real quick before we get to news, the Braves beat the Nationals in Major League Baseball 5-2. Twins over the Orioles 4-zip. Reds with the win over the White Sox 7-1. Rays beat the Blue Jays 8-3. It was a 1-0 win for the Rangers over the Astros. A's fell to the Dodgers. They got pounded 19-2. The final there.
Yikes.
Friday baseball action includes the Cubs and the White Sox this afternoon at 2:20. Reds have the Guardians tonight at 6:40. Phillies will host the Pittsburgh Pirates at 6:45. Pittsburgh 15-29. Yankees and Mets at 7:05. Orioles and Nationals tonight. Blue Jays and Tigers. Marlins and Rays. Red Sox, Braves. Orioles, Cardinals. Rangers, Astros. Brewers, Twins. Diamondbacks, Rockies. Padres taking on the Mariners. Angels on the road in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. And the Giants will host the A's at 10:15 tonight. See, anything else? Hurricanes over the Capitals on the ice in hockey action 3-1. Hurricanes winning that series 4-1. And the Jets with the win over the Stars 4-zip. Stars lead that series 3-2. Basketball action, Nuggets dribbling past the Thunder 119-107. That series now tied up 3 games apiece. Coming up on 7 o'clock here this morning, we will bring you the latest headlines. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
When Poles vote in Sunday's presidential election, they will be choosing between two different paths for their country. Opinion polls show Liberal Warsaw Mayor Rafał Trzaskowski, an ally of the ruling coalition, as a probable winner. But that would most likely occur after a runoff due on June 1st. Polling in second is amateur boxer and conservative historian Karol Nawrocki, who is backed by the nationalist opposition Law and Justice Party. In third is far-right candidate Sławomir Mencen. Both are fans of Trump with his Make America Great Again movement and their anti-immigration stance, as well as a crusade against so-called woke liberal values. The election to replace nationalist ally Andrzej Duda comes amid a surge in nationalism in Central Europe, fanned by concerns over living costs, migration, and security threats from Russia. After nearly 3 years of war in Ukraine, the top candidates have all touted their credentials as wartime leaders. Philip Pazderski, an analyst at the Stefan Battery Foundation in Warsaw, says the leading candidates differ on security issues.
The win of Rafał Trzaskowski would actually support current government policy when it comes to the strengthening our European relations, when it comes to supporting the idea of creating or strengthening the common European defense system as well. If Mr. Nawrocki wins, we can expect that they will try to strengthen relations between Poland and the USA. However, the question is to what extent they can be effective in that.
The first-place Trzaskowski looks likely to beat back nationalist rivals, in part thanks to his shift towards the right to win over more conservative votes. He's polling at around 32%, a roughly 8-point lead over Nawrocki. Despite the lead, Trzaskowski could struggle in a runoff against Nawrocki, political observers say.
Hi, I'm Heather Roberts, and I'm running to be your next magisterial district judge. I was born and raised right here in Titusville and went on to earn a degree from Penn State University in crime, law, and justice. I began my career in victim services, working with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, helping them to navigate the justice system with strength, compassion, and dignity. Today, I work as a paralegal in family and personal injury law. I'm a proud mom of 3, and my husband Jack and I are proud to call Titusville home. I humbly ask for your vote and your support on May 20th at the primary election. Thank you.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Rayan Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
Hi, I'm Ben Leach, a lifelong resident of Titusville. I truly love my community and this small town we call home. I'm a 13-year police officer and I've dedicated my career to public service and am honored to be running for Magisterial District Judge. A special thanks to my endorsements. Your support and belief in me means so much. Thanks also to my incredible family and friends for always standing by me. Your encouragement gives me the strength to serve with integrity and purpose. I ask for your vote Tuesday, May 20th in the primary election. Thank you.
U.S. stocks finished mixed Thursday with the Dow rising about 2/3%, the S&P 500 adding 0.4, and the Nasdaq slipping marginally. Data showed U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April, while a separate report showed producer price inflation unexpectedly fell last month. That followed a relatively tame consumer price reading earlier in the week. But John Creekmer, Chief Investment Officer with Creekmer Wealth Advisors, said investors are still waiting for more data to see how the economic picture is developing.
Right now, the market's trying to figure things out. We do foresee some instability throughout the rest of the summertime. We're going to have to see how the economic numbers play out, both from employment, sales, and then also with the overall economy. Are we GDP? Are we expanding? Are we retracting a little bit? That'll give us some gauge on where things are going. Right now, caution is the most important word of the day.
Stocks on the move included Cisco Systems, which jumped almost 5% after the networking company raised its annual forecast, driven by the artificial intelligence boom. Shares of United Health plunged almost 11% to a 5-year low after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Department of Justice was conducting a criminal investigation into the company for possible Medicare fraud. United Health said it had not been informed of a criminal probe by federal prosecutors. And shares of Walmart ended lower but recovered from steeper losses earlier in the session after the retail giant warned it would start raising prices later this month due to tariffs, even after first quarter U.S. comparable sales beat expectations.
Well, we're looking at thunderstorms this morning, giving way to partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Temperatures today in the low 80s. Scattered thunderstorms early on tonight, cloudy skies after midnight, and lows in the low 60s. Saturday, looking at rain, upper 60s for a high. Sunday, cloudy, upper 50s. Monday, partly cloudy, low 60s. Tuesday, partly cloudy with temperatures in the mid 60s. Meadville this morning checking in at 62 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 61. Titusville 63. Franklin this morning 65. Oil City 64 degrees here at 710. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Well, joining us this morning is Mr. Ben Leach. He's a candidate for Magisterial District Judge. Ben, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, before we get into why you decided to run, let's learn a little bit about who you are. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm a graduate of Titusville High School in 2008. I grew up here. My family's from here. My mom's Kennedy Vaughn Leach. So I graduated from Titusville in 2008. Did a lot of athletics growing up, so I was interested in health and phys ed, so I immediately went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And I was going to try and get to be a phys ed teacher, and then I had interest in sports administration. So a couple years in, and this would have been in 2008 to 2010, the job market was very difficult and very competitive at that time, especially for teachers. So I made a decision to switch careers and go to Mercyhurst Northeast Police Academy. Fast forward through that, that went fast, and it was unbelievable that I was able to graduate with my municipal police officer certification, where I could then start applying for jobs. So I came back home, again, a second time now, and I started looking for jobs. I know I wanted to stay in the area, and so everywhere that either was offering applications for part-time or full-time status, I would put in an application or a resume, and 10 long months that drug on, I finally got my first opportunity. But before that, because I was trying to get better at these civil service tests and interviews, and I actually tested for the Titusville Fire Department. Now, my dad was a 27-year firefighter at Titusville, so he encouraged me to do it, practice. What's the worst that could happen? Well, I got hired. So that went through another 4-month course of learning firefighter essentials. So my police career got put on hold, and I started to, learn the job of being a firefighter, and I loved it. All the applications were still out there. Any jobs that were opening, I was still applying for. Well, ultimately, in May of 2012, I got my first break, and Youngsville Borough Police Department hired me as a patrolman. And I don't know why or how the timing was, but it was also a very competitive market at that time, and I think there were over 30 people that applied for the one position.
Wow.
Yeah, so tested well, interviewed well. I loved the area. That was the first time I was there when I handed in my application, actually. So I was excited, and I jumped on the opportunity, and I'm still there to this day. I'm no longer a patrolman. I'm a sergeant there. It's really developed. It's been pretty amazing. I can't thank the people that have helped me this far in that career, but yeah, I love it.
That's great. So let's go back a little bit. What sports did you play?
Well, football mainly, and I'm pretty proud of this. I'm part of the 07 undefeated season, right? And then my junior year was that competitive year that we lost to General McLean twice, actually, once in the playoffs, and they won it in the state. So I played football, I played
And that
basketball.
was one that you guys... yeah,
I'd
you don't want
rather,
to talk about it, huh?
Yeah. I also played baseball. I played basketball. Basketball was probably my first love in athletics. I just started so early. I went to St. Titus, so we had a competitive team when I was young. In third grade, started competitively, and then when I got to middle school, when all of my now close friends who didn't go to St. Titus started playing, this was their first opportunity to play against people they didn't know, right? Strangers. So I felt I had a little bit of an upper hand, and it went well, and it's been a blast ever since, or it was a blast.
So you kind of initially thought, okay, healthcare, maybe phys ed teacher, and then you find yourself on this other side. Was that something where you kind of just kept thinking in the back of your mind, like, hey, this is where I started, or did you just kind of let the journey take you this way?
So there's actually two answers to everything that I focused on.
Okay.
So when it came to health and phys ed, as I said, I was into athletics a lot. Well, I always respected my coaches, and many of my coaches were teachers. And so when I started to think about where my career would head, I would think, well, I'm a lot like these guys, these girls. I can probably do this. This is something I have interest in. So that was the half of it, and every answer is the same on these. So the other half was, I think I'd have a lot of fun, right? I wanted to teach, I wanted to work with the youth, and I wanted to coach. So when I focused on what I wanted to do when I grew up, ironically, I just wanted to do what I would like, and the people that I knew did that job, who I respected. So then when it came to law enforcement, or trying to be a law enforcement officer, see, my Uncle Dale, who retired, Dale Beach, retired from Titusville Police Department as a detective. So I respected him. He's my godfather. So I respected him. So when I wanted to get into law enforcement, he was a huge encouragement for me to do so. And then when I didn't test, or I didn't get hired right away, when it came to firefighters, that's what my dad did. So again, when I looked at who does the job, obviously respected my dad, respected my Uncle Dale. And in both those jobs, I just thought I'd have a lot of fun. I mean, I do have a lot of fun in law enforcement.
That had to have been interesting, just hearing police versus the fire side of things between your dad and uncle.
Yeah, no, there was nothing negative. There really wasn't.
I'm joking.
There really wasn't. And I'll tell you what, I joke now, or many times before when there's difficult situations, I'll joke and say, why did I ever leave the fire department? That job was great. Everyone liked me when I showed up. Nobody was like, oh man, the firefighter Ben again. You know, nobody was disappointed. Now, as a police officer, sometimes you're the worst part of people's day. That changed. So not everyone was always excited that I showed up to incidents. Yeah.
But it sounds like you also have that in the back of your mind where you can make somebody's day, right?
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
it can be a positive experience.
Yeah, and it might have started even earlier than that. I was offered an opportunity when I was in high school to coach my old St. Titus school basketball team. And so that would have been the first real experience I had to work with youth. And I think I was in either 11th grade or a senior, one of the two. And I can't remember which year it was. My brother was a sixth grader, so that was my first chance to work with someone, and they just plain old looked up to me and needed my guidance, whether it be for the sport or not.
Right.
And so I think I just took naturally to it, and I really liked it, and I could see on their faces when something would get through to them, and when I was being too hard at times, So that's where it started on, and then it kind of just led from that I think that whatever I did, I could help people. Whatever job I went into. And the interesting thing is, I'd never focused my career. I missed too many job fairs where they had the salary. I never paid any attention to it.
Yeah.
Evidently, I only focused on what I wanted to do and what I could do. And so that's kind of where it ended up where I'm at.
But there's a line there where that becomes passion, and then eventually, if you do that well, that's that's the salary and stuff will come with it. But
Sure.
So I want to, if I didn't know you, if I didn't know your family, I would say it sounds like you're very passionate about. It almost sounds like you're passionate about just learning things.
Yeah.
That you take that on, but family sounds very important to you. How important is your family?
Well, it's big. It's the reason we moved home in the first place. So I had a residency requirement in Youngsville, and when we started looking for different properties to get a little bit closer to home, I had to actually try and get that residency removed. We were about to expect my first child, my daughter at that time, so we knew we wanted to be closer to home. Family, that's where our support is. I mean, in anything, when your support group is your family, that's so strong, and my parents and my in-laws are amazing. So
like with me, it's you would think my wife and kids. It's actually the dog. He's the only one excited when I come home.
Yeah, well, I worked enough nights long enough that they're pretty excited when I come home still.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then, ironically enough, I have a huge family. I have 8 siblings. I got 6 sisters and 2 brothers. There's only 2 of my siblings still in Titusville, and the rest are scattered.
Wow.
Florida, North Carolina, Erie. So this huge family that I grew up with, it shrunk drastically after school, but I never really had any desire to go to those places. I didn't mind vacationing. I just prefer home. I like what's comfortable. I'm especially in work. I get put in uncomfortable situations for a living. So when I can come to what is comfortable to me, I prefer it, especially in my off time.
Yeah. Well, let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Ben Leach with us here this morning, candidate for magisterial district judge. What made you decide to jump into, I don't say politics per se, but you have to when you're getting involved in a campaign. This opportunity came up. What made you wake up and say, you know what, I think I want to try for this?
Well, it's kind of two things. And it comes back to many of my earlier answers, right? It has to do with family. It has to do with my community. And it has to do with, like, my friends, right? So it was a difficult task at times when I started in Youngsville. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the chief. I had never met anybody from Youngsville, at least the borough. And so I had to basically convince early on, especially how young I was, that I come from a good family and I'm very respected and, you know, I'm respectful to them. And so I always wanted to come back and serve here. And I had tried a couple times. And I did very well with a small agency like Titusville. The numbers are low, which means the hiring is low. And it was a long stint. You know, I tested well enough that I was going to be the next one hired here. And this would have been 8 or 9 years ago now. And 3 years went by and they just never hired. And so this whole time I had moved back with, in the back of my mind, thinking that I was going to come and work for Titusville. Well, the way careers go, once you start really dedicating your time to another area or another, area, Youngsville in this case, you don't want to leave anything, any stone unturned. And so I focused my attention on there, and I kind of left the idea of coming back here for a long time, in the back of my mind. And I also had thought with my current police chief, he was closer to retirement. I thought there was a real potential that sooner rather than later I was going to take over the department. And he was kind of grooming me for that. And so that's where he had made me a sergeant a couple years ago to try and really steer my career path that way. Well, I learned a lot in law enforcement, and one thing I learned is you can have a bigger impact in a different role, and that's where this position comes in. So I had thought before I was a law enforcement officer, and even before I went to the academy, that once a police officer did his thing in his investigation and the charges were filed, whatever happens, then, cut and dry, that's it. Whatever happens to the individual happens. And I didn't know how little involvement the police have after those charges are filed or whatever's done. I didn't know the impact that other roles played, such as this one. And so I was fortunate. Because of the way our county's set up and the timing of retirees, I've worked in front of 7 different magisterial district judges. So I either prosecuting cases or a witness on cases. And so with that, I started to pick different things that I was like, this is absolutely working. And I only knew that from experience, number one. And number two, I'd see the end result because it'd go back into my community. So when something would really work, I'd go, the way he handled that and look at the outcome is positive in the community, that's got to be it. That's got to be the way it's done. And then vice versa. If I see anything that I thought, didn't appear at face value that would work, and I'd be surprised, like, look at this individual coming back, doing the right thing, and it was good to see. And then on the other side of it, I didn't realize how much control of the case you lose. And it happens, when it gets to the prosecutor's office or, how far along it goes. The decisions get made well beyond what law enforcement have to do with. And so it kind of jumps back into everything or more like who I am. I'm always striving to continue to move forward. I don't like to be stagnant. I don't like to be, just steady. I'm always trying to rise in whatever levels I can do. And in this case, I view this as a rise or, an incline of where I can take my career. On top of that, I get to do it home. I don't know that I would want to do it in another area if I wasn't necessarily from there, but I get to do it here, which means those things, those ideas and those experiences that I have and the positive, response to those things, I can apply here. And I can only say how much it means to me until you see it. The hardest part of this whole campaign, because I assure you, I have no desires in anything politics. If this goes south, you're not going to see Leach for anything signs ever again. My dad might, because he's a heck of a politician himself, but not for me.
You'll go into his garage and there'll be plastic.
Yeah. But so it just is a deep dive into what I want to do in this community. And I've always, the opportunities come up, remains to be seen. I believe I'm where I'm at for a reason. I believe that there's no doubt that the reason Titusville didn't call and I never got hired down here, and I moved back the timing that I did right when I started my family. There was only really one reason. I mean, I'm a very faithful person, so do I feel like it's my calling? Absolutely, I really do. And I think it's because of how big of an impact that position has. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I've had 3 magistrates in Youngsville alone. 3. We're about to have my 4th. I say this unless something crazy happens, but my current magisterial district judge is running for Court of Common Pleas, and he's running unopposed, which means next year there's going to be another race, and there would be another magistrate. So 4 in Youngsville in 14, 15 years.
Wow.
We've had 1 in Titusville for nearly 30. And shout out to Judge Nichols. Amazing career. I mean, I can't really compare it to anything. I've had 2 other ones in Warren City. There's been 1 in North Warren for a long time. I've obviously practiced in front of 1 in Forest County, but I mean, it's crazy. People in Titusville area, I hope you appreciate what you've had for as long as you've had it.
Have you had a chance to just talk to anybody in that role over the last couple of years, just for some perspective, or since you've decided to run, just say, obviously I'm in front of you with certain things, but behind the scenes, what more is there to this? What am I not seeing?
Absolutely. If I have 1 hearing for every 20 visits I have with a magistrate, I'd be surprised. It's probably more like 1 in 50. And it's often bending their ear about other things because they're full of knowledge and experience too. I try not to predict things that could occur, have occurred, whatever. I just try and have a response for if they do. And so I've asked stuff that I have nothing to do with, landlord-tenant stuff. I go a lot of times to get information from them so that I can, on the street, especially when I'm working, I can go ahead and be a reflection of those answers to people that ask. Because law enforcement could ask questions or to help with all types of things, whether criminal or not. And we don't know, we don't study much of the civil end of it, but they ask us anyhow, especially with landlord-tenant. We get questions all the time. Property disputes. I was at 2 of them yesterday. I mean, people call us, we respond, we determine if it's criminal or not, and if it's civil, we try and offer as much advice as possible. And we don't have any real knowledge, we don't study that part of the world, of anything. And so that's who we go for advice. And then the same thing, if there's a decision that we might not completely agree on that was made, I like to hear them out on why or how they come to that decision. And being that I have so much time on it and I'm respected by them, they're willing to, offer that experience. And I joke.
Is that the coaching coming out of you? Like, hey, why did you call that?
I don't like, I have always said this. Everybody should be able to make mistakes and it be okay. What I never want to do personally, I never want to make the same mistake twice. In law enforcement, just a mistake once can be detrimental. Making the same mistake twice shows some negligence. And I was always scared of that, of ever making a mistake twice. And often to my own, I say, my chief would always tell me when I started out, you're going to have to try in order to learn how not to do it. And right. I never wanted to do that, but that's kind of where I went with my career. And once I learned that I could fail, as long as I learned out how not to fail again, it started to really succeed.
Ben, why don't you encourage folks to get out and vote on Tuesday?
Yeah, for my position in general, if you don't vote in the primary, you might not have an opportunity to vote for us in the general election. So Please get out and vote. It's your chance to have a say. Have a say in who is going to be in your community in that role, in any role, whether it be school board, magisterial district judge, anywhere. Tuesday, May 20th is the election day. Please get out and vote for whoever you think is going to do the best job in that seat. That's all I ask.
Thanks for coming in, Ben.
All right, thank you.
Decorative and a sign Putin was not serious about ending the war.
I think that the United States of America and Turkey feel Russian disrespect. That is my opinion. There is no time for a meeting, no agenda, no delegation of high level. It is personal disrespect. I am not talking about Russians disrespecting us, which is obvious anyway, but it is mutual in between us. But they are now here, so it is disrespect towards Erdogan, disrespect towards Trump.
Але вони тут. Неповага до Ердогана, неповага до Трампа.
Zelensky said he would not go to Istanbul, but would send a team headed by his defense minister with a mandate to discuss a ceasefire. Russia said its team was in Istanbul and ready for serious work, and accused Ukraine of trying to put on a show. Talks were further undermined by U.S. President Donald Trump, who told reporters there would be no movement on peace talks in the absence of a meeting between himself and Putin.
I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together, but we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said it was too early to say if Putin would attend talks in the future. The warring sides have been wrestling for months over the logistics of ceasefires and peace talks. The last direct talks were held in March 2022. Hundreds of thousands have been killed and wounded on both sides in the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II. Washington has threatened repeatedly to abandon its mediation efforts unless there is clear progress.
Hi, I'm Heather Roberts, and I'm running to be your next magisterial district judge. I was born and raised right here in Titusville and went on to earn a degree from Penn State University in crime, law, and justice. I began my career in victim services, working with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, helping them to navigate the justice system with strength, compassion, and dignity. Today, I work as a paralegal in family and personal injury law. I'm a proud mom of 3, and my husband Jack and I are proud to call Titusville home. I humbly ask for your vote and your support on May 20th at the primary election. Thank you.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place. And now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
This Memorial Day, Community Chevrolet honors those who fought to save the freedoms we enjoy today. And the least we can do is save you more than $9,000 off America's favorite truck, the Silverado.
You have my undivided attention. Ooh, I smell hot dogs.
You can also save more than $5,000 off the Silverado 2500 and more than $2,000 off the 2025 Colorado.
I may be colorblind, but these deals seem red, white, and true.
Community Chevy's Memorial Day sale only during Military Appreciation Month at Community Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Ben Leach, a lifelong resident of Titusville. I truly love my community and this small town we call home. I'm a 13-year police officer and I've dedicated my career to public service and am honored to be running for magisterial district judge. A special thanks to my endorsements. Your support and belief in me means so much. Thanks also to my incredible family and friends for always standing by me. Your encouragement gives me the strength to serve with integrity and purpose. I ask for your vote Tuesday, May 20th in the primary election. Thank you.
U.S. stocks finished mixed Thursday with the Dow rising about 2/3%, the S&P 500 adding 0.4, and the Nasdaq slipping marginally. Data showed U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April, while a separate report showed producer price inflation unexpectedly fell last month. That followed a relatively tame consumer price reading earlier in the week. But John Creekmur, Chief Investment Officer with Creekmur Wealth Advisors, said investors are still waiting for more data to see how the economic picture is developing.
Right now, the market's trying to figure things out. We do foresee some instability throughout the rest of the summertime. We're going to have to see how the economic numbers play out, both from employment, sales, and then also with the overall economy. Are we GDP? Are we expanding? Are we retracting a little bit? That'll give us some gauge on where things are going. Right now, caution is the most important word of the day.
Stocks on the move included Cisco Systems, which jumped almost 5% after the networking company raised its annual forecast, driven by the artificial intelligence boom. Shares of United Health plunged almost 11% to a 5-year low after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Department of Justice was conducting a criminal investigation into the company for possible Medicare fraud. United Health said it had not been informed of a criminal probe by federal prosecutors. And shares of Walmart ended lower but recovered from steeper losses earlier in the session after the retail giant warned it would start raising prices later this month due to tariffs, even after first quarter U.S. comparable sales beat expectations.
Well, quite a light show early this morning with some thunderstorms rolling through the area, but looking at partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Temperatures today in the low 80s. Scattered thunderstorms early on tonight. Cloudy skies after midnight with lows in the low 60s. Saturday rain, upper 60s for a high. Sunday cloudy. upper 50s. Notice we're going in the wrong direction here. Monday, partly cloudy, low 60s. Tuesday, partly cloudy, mid 60s. Not going to get too much better next week. You look at the latter part of the week, and we're like into the 50s. So, yeah, it's not going to be till maybe the end of May when we hit the 70s again. So enjoy today if we reach the low 80s. Meadville this morning checking in at 62 degrees. Camber Springs, Edinburgh at 61. 63 in Titusville, 64 in Franklin, 65 in Oil City. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Well, Mr. Joseph Anderson joins us here this morning from the Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home. Joe, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
First of all, we got to talk about this. Congratulations. There's sort of been a changing of the guard at the Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, and this has been in place now for a while, but kind of tell us about some of the changes that have been going on.
Yeah, first, just want to say that I've had funerals that are more hopeful than that forecast you just read, because that's not good for golf. That's not good for anything.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so brief history on the Garrett Funeral Home. My grandfather came to work here in 1957 for Mr. E.A. Peterson. Mr. Peterson unfortunately passed away not long into my grandfather being here. So he operated the funeral home as the manager until 1965, bought the business from Mrs. Peterson in 1965, ran it until, I don't know, early to mid-2000s, and my uncle Todd Garrett bought the business from him. But my grandfather worked, I mean, they weren't in Florida, he was always there, and he always liked, it was his passion, he enjoyed being there. Todd always told us that he didn't want that for us. He wanted a succession plan, and so that he would not be there when he's 80 years old working the door, and so we've stuck to that. And so last year, January 1, 2024, he officially handed the reins over to his son, my cousin Jack Garrett, and myself. So we have been buying the business from him. He's off doing other exciting things, and so that's been the, certainly a new adventure. You're used to one person, leading the charge, and now we're there, but trying to make decisions.
You also have some great staff members who have been there for a long time that I'm sure
Jay
provide some advice.
Jay Pertz has been there for over 40 years, and I told him he can never retire. He has to be there. Mark Hopwood's been there for many years, a funeral assistant. My mom, she is, she gave me my allowance when I was 10. She still pays me today. Thankfully, she does all the book work and the accounting, and so be lost without all the people that help. But so it's a.
Basically, it's a very family run business. I mean. From that perspective, when you look at family, even Jay and Mark, I mean, they're family, right? And the friendliness that you're providing those folks that are coming through the door, and probably a very tough, time for them. That's very important to you to continue that tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we love our community. We're all involved in different things, whether it's church or, as we were just talking earlier, Little League. I mean, these are our friends or our family, extended family. So we want everyone to, there's a saying by Dr. Alan Wolford, who's an author on grief psychology, and he says, when death occurs, we are all unprepared. I mean, we just can't really prepare fully. And so we hope to be the place that when that happens, you come and at least you feel comfortable, us, we're friends, and that eases the burden a little bit of what you're going through. So,
some additional things that might be changing. Some work around the property itself.
Yes, I think people are used to seeing us out in the yard, trying to make it greener than it was the day before, and pulling every weed. And
do people ask you to start like a landscape service as well? Because you guys do have a beautiful.
People ask, yeah. I mean, but really, there's sometimes 4 of us out there in the yard pulling weeds and mowing. So not everybody has that at their house, and it just comes down to that. We take time to mow and manicure and treat it and all the things and flowers. Unfortunately, I love history. I love the history of Titusville. I love the architecture. We have the building itself, our front of the house is an old oil mansion. I believe it was one of the Henney families, and it has been added on to a few times, but the original house is still there. In the back of the house, in the back of our driveway, you'll see what is we call it the carriage house, the barn. We use it as our garage, and it is the same age as the house. Unfortunately, though, when that was built, it was not built on a very sturdy foundation. It was built on railroad ties that have since rotted throughout the years. We noticed issues 10 years ago that the cupola seemed to be pushing down and pushing the back wall out. The utility wires are right there. So we've been trying for years to get people in and give us your opinion. What do you think we should do? How can we pull this together? So we've had structural engineers. We've had contractors. We've had Mennonite, Amish, your brother's cousins, know-it-all expert when it comes to foundation work. All of them have come in, and all of them have said the same thing. You need to tear it down. It's too far gone. It's not. It would cost 5 times what it would be to rebuild it. So this next week, if you walk by the funeral home, you'll see we're going to have a team of guys come in. They're going to tear it down by hand so that we can save every good piece of lumber, every beam that somebody would want. The weather vane that sits on top, we're going to take that off, get it powder coated, and put back on the new one. But yes, the building is going to come down, and we're going to rebuild it in likeness, not as high, not as big, but it will be same look, same color, trying to keep so it looks like it belongs with the house.
That's great.
And keeping all of the wood that we can inside to people that want it. So trying to preserve, but at the same time, it is coming down.
Yeah. Well, it would have been easy just to say, hey, we're going to take it down and then just put something else up. But it sounds like there's been a lot of careful thought into saying, we want to kind of rebuild what was there and keep that history alive.
Yeah, last year, I don't know, January, February, we got connected with LIGO Architects out of Slippery Rock and explained this to them. This is important that we have a garage that looks like it needs to be here, not just a 4-stall garage that has space that we can put our stuff in. We want it to look like it belongs here in Titusville with the corresponding architecture. So they drew some pretty amazing plans, I think. It's a lot of back and forth. Everything takes way longer than you think. I thought we'd be doing this last year, so we're a year plus into it, but excited for to be able to use it. It's more functional and it's safe. It's been the one engineer told us, he said, if we get real heavy snowfall, I wouldn't be surprised the whole thing just collapses on itself.
Wow.
So all winter long, I've just, just kind of like, oh boy, please don't be the one that,
And this was the winter we had.
Yeah, and this was the winter, and every time I would see the forecast, I was like, is this the day that it's going to, but thankfully we got through winter. So just peace of mind knowing it'll be a safer building.
Well, you were saying that you're only using a small part of that large structure to begin with. So now, once it's rebuilt, you actually have, storage space.
Yeah. Right now, it does its job. It houses our vehicles and some mowers, but that's about it. The upstairs we can't use. Some of the side rooms we cannot use. So yeah, excited to have a building that you can maximize space. And really, we do a lot of other work in our garage now too. So just having a more secure location, that's the goal.
Yeah. So expected time that they'll be working on this?
The guys that are coming in to do the teardown are starting Tuesday, hopefully, and then contractors, all local guys, will start building foundation work probably June, and then building it up starting end of June, early July, and hope to have it, near completion this fall.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
excited, but also understand that it's not going to be everybody's favorite thing to see a building coming down in historic Titusville, but we're doing our best to make it best of both worlds, I guess.
That's what you call respectable there.
Trying.
Right there. So, yeah,
Trying.
that's good. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Joe Anderson with us here this morning from the Garrett Funeral Home. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. And, we were talking about just a difficult time for individuals, for families, when there's a passing of a loved one or a friend. And there's so much that's going through that it's hard for a lot of people to process everything all at once, and you're making decisions. While it doesn't take the pain away, it can make the process easier if you pre-plan for a funeral. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and shout out to the Benson Memorial Library. They hosted a forum or just a community gathering a couple months ago. It was myself, Charlotte Joyce, attorney, and Hospice of Crawford County. And we just, as we're always trying to do, talk about planning. And it's the last thing you want to talk about planning for. But I've yet to meet anybody, and any funeral director would probably say the same, that came in that had things prearranged, had their affairs in order, that did not mention out loud, I am so glad we did this. I'm so glad we were prepared. It was just so much easier. I got so many things going on in my mind. I've got things that I don't want to think about, and this is already done. So while it isn't something that we want to talk about, that's not easy to talk about, it is so important. And I understand there's different layers to that. Just doing an inventory of what do you have, what stuff that you have, and maybe going and talking to an estate attorney, setting up a will, finding out who your beneficiaries are, finding out how much stuff do you have, how assets do you have that you need to account for. That alone does a lot. And then on top of that, those people that come in and they say, hey, I just want to give you some information. I want to talk to you. You had my family, mom, dad. I want to give you some of my information. These are some things that I would like, but I don't really want to talk about all of it. I just want to give you some information. That's fine. Some people want to come in and I want to pick out to the memorial card. I want everything written down. So when this happens, my family knows exactly what I want and they don't have to make any decisions. And that's great. But on the other side of it, it does catch people off guard, and people that come in that, well, what do you think mom wants? What do you think? I don't know. What do you think that? Well, what did their dad do? And we kind of have to break down best decisions, what we think, and it does add stress. So preparation is key, and we are very blessed in this town with I think some excellent state attorneys, Schaefer Law Firm, Charlotte Joyce, and others. They just do such a good job of preparing people, giving you a checklist, because everybody's situation is different. I mean, there are people that are at different stages of life, if they're going into a nursing home or long care rehab, things that they need to have in order. There's just so much and so many rules and so many laws for each individual. It's not the same. So preparation is key, but these people are so good at telling you what you should do and getting a checklist together just to prevent you from losing things that you don't want to lose in the end. So
what's the process like? Do they call and schedule an appointment to sit down with you? Is there a packet that you get? I mean, kind of walk through that process.
Yeah, so we have on our website, if you go to GarrettFuneralHomeInc.com, there is a tab there that says prearranged. Some people don't want to talk. They don't want to come in and speak to us, or they don't want to talk on the phone, which is fine. And you can get on there, you can fill a form out, and that kicks over to our email, and then we can email back and forth. I can tell you some things that we need. Some people, though, most people would call and they say, hey, I'd like to come in and just talk. Just like we're doing right now, we'll sit down and we'll talk. Better chance than not, we had somebody in your family, and I'll just kind of look up and go, compare family history, and we'll sit down and go through what are your wishes. And that's an ever-changing thing. When my grandfather did this, everybody did the same thing. There was a visitation the day before. there was a funeral the next day, and everybody went to the cemetery. And then they probably went somewhere for a lunch. And that was pretty much consistent for every funeral they had. Now, you know, there's choices. You can be buried, or you can be cremated. And if you're going to be either of those two, are you going to have a service? Are we going to have a funeral service? Are you going to have some visitation before that? And most people say the same thing. I don't need any of that. I don't need anybody. I don't want a viewing. Nobody needs to see me. And I understand that. And I probably don't care what would happen to me but I understand that I have family and you have family. And whether we think that we're helping by not having anything and we're just bury me, just cremate me, it is so much more beneficial to have some kind of service. And that is what we try to talk about the most. You know, once we get information, we have your family history, your background, things that you've done. In talking about service, that is where we try to explain the benefits of service and bringing your family and friends together, even if it's just for an hour, even if it's just for it's not a 3-day. And I think a lot of people think, well, back in the day, I don't want all of that, and I totally understand. But having a service is so important. Whether there's a casket there, or whether there's an urn there, or just a picture or something, it is so important to. Every life deserves honor. Every life deserves to be celebrated. And we as humans, I think, we think we're helping our family by don't worry about that. Don't just save and don't waste your time with that. I don't need all those things, but it's important. It helps us grieve. We're going to grieve, and we can choose to do that alone, or we can choose to bring family and friends together. Maybe it's public, maybe it's private, but the thing that we like to say is it's just easier for people to come in to our building where it's a peaceful environment to give you a hug and say, I'm sorry for your loss, rather than where they would see you at Walmart or somewhere where it's just, that's not where that moment needs to be, but it happens. And so we're just pro-service, I guess, more than anything. And so that's what we explain those things and the many, many different options that can be. But I think ultimately we want to see people's lives celebrated. We want to see people in our community be able to come in and pay their respects to other family, other community members, and that's our desire. So.
Is part of that if somebody wanted to pay ahead of time, so they're not worrying about it once there, or have a payment plan? What sort of options are there? Yeah,
great question. So if some people they want to come in, hey, I want to prepay this, and they write a check, we take that money, and we by law we put that money in an account that grows in interest, and that money is specifically used for your funeral cremation expenses, and that it does not count against you as an asset. If you had to go into a nursing home or something like that, that would not count against you. That money is set aside, it's protected. Other people, they say, hey, I have an insurance policy. I want to make you guys the beneficiary of that. So people come in, and again, depending on the insurance company, people will do an assignment. They'll change the beneficiary, the ownership of the policy to us. That also protects it. That's the state recognizes that that's being used for your funeral expenses, so that it gets out of your name, it's in our name, and we'll, when the time comes, claim those funds. Some people come in, they say, hey, I have X amount of dollars, and I just want to put towards it. And in next year at this time, I'm going to put X amount more towards it. That's fine, and we'll do that. We'll start an account for you. People just make steady payments over the years, and that what they have is what they have. Other people, they have things set up in a trust. Again, if they've went to an attorney and they have things set up through an attorney's office, then the estate will take care of it. So a lot of different options.
So the best thing is to call, maybe schedule that appointment to sit down with you and then have this conversation, or you can start by going on the website, getting some information there. Joe, good to see you this morning. Again, there's a lot of options there. So tell us how they can get a hold of you if they want to call.
Yeah, you call the funeral home, 814-827-2631. You can get on our website, just shoot us a message, say, hey, I'd like to stop in. You can drop by, ring the doorbell. Usually somebody's there. We might not be able to meet you that day, but definitely we'll get you in. We've got different brochures and packets of things we'll give you, things you can read about. Maybe you're not sure what you want. Maybe you just want to come in and talk and review things, and we'll do that too. So a lot of different options. Or if you see me at a Little League baseball field or wrestling tournament or somewhere, I'm usually somewhere around town, just grab a hold of me and tell me you want to come in, and we'll do that.
Joe, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
When polls vote in Sunday's presidential election, they will be choosing between two different paths for their country. Opinion polls show Liberal Warsaw Mayor Rafał Trzaskowski, an ally of the ruling coalition, as a probable winner. But that would most likely occur after a runoff due on June 1st. Polling in second is amateur boxer and conservative historian Karol Nawrocki, who is backed by the nationalist opposition Law and Justice Party. In third is far-right candidate Sławomir Mencen. Both are fans of Trump with his Make America Great Again movement and their anti-immigration stance, as well as a crusade against so-called woke liberal values. The election to replace nationalist ally Andrzej Duda comes amid a surge in nationalism in Central Europe, fanned by concerns over living costs, migration, and security threats from Russia. After nearly 3 years of war in Ukraine, the top candidates have all touted their credentials as wartime leaders. Filip Pazderski, an analyst at the Stefan Battery Foundation in Warsaw, says the leading candidates differ on security issues.
The win of Rafał Trzaskowski would actually support current government policy when it comes to the strengthening our European relations, when it comes to supporting the idea of creating or strengthening the common European defense system as well. If Mr. Nawrocki wins, we can expect that they will try to strengthen relations between Poland and the USA. However, the question is to what extent they can be effective in that.
The first-place Trzaskowski looks likely to beat back nationalist rivals, in part thanks to a shift towards the right to win over more conservative votes. He's polling at around 32%, a roughly 8-point lead over Nawrocki. Despite the lead, Trzaskowski could struggle in a runoff against Nawrocki, political observers say.
Hi, I'm Heather Roberts, and I'm running to be your next magisterial district judge. I was born and raised right here in Titusville and went on to earn a degree from Penn State University in crime, law, and justice. I began my career in victim services, working with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, helping them to navigate the justice system with strength, compassion, and dignity. Today, I work as a paralegal in family and personal injury law. I'm a proud mom of 3, and my husband Jack and I are proud to call Titusville home. I humbly ask for your vote and your support on May 20th at the primary election. Thank you.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors, we also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who can solve this equation? Ooh! Me. Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you. Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
Hi, I'm Ben Leach, a lifelong resident of Titusville. I truly love my community and this small town we call home. I'm a 13-year police officer and I've dedicated my career to public service and am honored to be running for Magisterial District Judge. A special thanks to my endorsements. Your support and belief in me means so much. Thanks also to my incredible family and friends for always standing by me. Your encouragement gives me the strength to serve with integrity and purpose. I ask for your vote Tuesday, May 20th in the primary election. Thank you.
U.S. stocks finished mixed Thursday, with the Dow rising about 2/3%, the S&P 500 adding 0.4, and the Nasdaq slipping marginally. Data showed U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April, while a separate report showed producer price inflation unexpectedly fell last month. That followed a relatively tame consumer price reading earlier in the week. But John Creekmer, Chief Investment Officer with Creekmer Wealth Advisors, said investors are still waiting for more data to see how the economic picture is developing.
Right now, the market's trying to figure things out. We do foresee some instability throughout the rest of the summertime. We're going to have to see how the economic numbers play out, both from employment, sales, and then also with the overall economy. Are we GDP? Are we expanding? Are we retracting a little bit? That'll give us some gauge on where things are going. Right now, caution is the most important word of the day.
Stocks on the move included Cisco Systems, which jumped almost 5% after the networking company raised its annual forecast, driven by the artificial intelligence boom. Shares of United Health plunged almost 11% to a 5-year low after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Department of Justice was conducting a criminal investigation into the company for possible Medicare fraud. United Health said it had not been informed of a criminal probe by federal prosecutors. And shares of Walmart ended lower but recovered from steeper losses earlier in the session after the retail giant warned it would start raising prices later this month due to tariffs, even after first quarter U.S. comparable sales beat expectations.
we're going to get caught up with everything that's been going on. The Oil Region Alliance. Well, you could just listen to me, but we actually have somebody who knows what's going on. It's Emily Altomare. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, Luke. How are you?
Good. I know we had a lot of rain this morning, but...
We did. It was heavy. It's Wear Your Life Vest to Work Day. Come on. May 16th for Boat Safety Week coming up.
Okay.
You got to get ready.
All right.
Got to put your life vest on.
I left mine at home. I can't believe I would have forgotten to do that.
A day like that.
Yep.
Like, wear your life vest to work day.
Wow.
There's bike to work day, which I think happens right around this time too, and that's not going to happen for me, but I can put on a life vest and be here with you.
Now, that is yours, or did you borrow that from somebody?
This is my life vest. I got it out of my kayak.
Okay.
And that's where I keep it, and I
Excellent.
put it on for you and the TV viewers at home who can see this. So.
Excellent.
It was hard standing in front of my closet this morning, like, what's going to go with my life vest?
Are these things you think about, like, when you're getting ready to go kayaking?
No, normally not. It's only when you're going to wear your or your life vest, like, on a show like this.
The prop game just keeps getting up and up and up because Drake Well does it. They inspired Sherry Porter at the OC&T, and now...
I don't know. I can't compete with that, but...
That I don't know. That's good.
Okay,
That's good.
Well, thankfully,
that's commitment there.
Okay. Well, and I encourage all of you to remember water safety. You need a life vest. Again, water was high and fast recently, and will be today after the amount of rain we got, at least isolatedly here in Oil Creek and in Titusville. So. The Fish and Boat Commission have a lot of great tips. Our e-newsletter that went out yesterday has some links to some great tips. But yes, it's a good time of year. Pay attention to water safety.
So obviously tourism is vital to what you do with the Oil Region Alliance.
It's literally my day job.
It's your day job. You have people that visit this area that are coming here to kayak and do other things, but kayaking has become exceptionally popular around here.
Yeah.
Is there a place to go for visitors so that they know ahead of time, or they can kind of say, okay, hey, the water might be this way, or this is where we can launch from?
So we don't have that as nice as we would like it, but you've got resources like Fish and Boat. Allegheny Outfitters out of Warren do an awesome job with the kind of the northern end of the Allegheny in terms of that, but that would also be a good place to start too. Oars in Franklin with Jeff Brenton. So you do have some options. It's not as easy as like looking at your phone and seeing the weather, unfortunately.
Because that's the other thing is people I have found ask all the time, like, hey, where can I launch my kayak from? Where are some points that, Oil City, Franklin, Titusville, Emlyn, wherever,
right?
Where can we launch from?
And that is also a project that the ORA has been working on, is developing more sites and also more signage and better mapping, so it's easier. We've talked about that before, how if you grew up here, you just know there are places that you always like put in a kayak or a canoe, and they're not necessarily public accesses that are on maps that
my bathtub, for example.
No, not a bathtub.
Oh, that's where I kayak.
You're still going to want the life vest.
Probably.
But so, as someone coming in from out of town, you might not feel comfortable. And really, you shouldn't feel comfortable just like pulling your vehicle off the side of the road and hopping in the water anywhere. Like, you do want to be careful. You do want to try and use those marked locations. So there are sites within Oil Creek State Park. Obviously, if you're at 2 Mile, there are launches on Justice Lake, but if you're, doing flowing water, you want to pay attention to those things. The Oil Region Alliance just received a grant from PA Fish and Boat Commission to continue development of a launch, an access point on the Allegheny River in President Township. Wow. So between Tionesta and Oil City. So construction will begin on that next year, if not this year, and hopefully be ready to use by the end of next summer.
That's great.
I think is the plan. So yeah, just again, more of those accesses so it's really clear, like, this is a place I am being encouraged to get in or take out, and then those will be places that will be, you know, part of those, like, hey, here are the conditions in these locations. We can speak to the safety of it a little bit more that way, similar to with the bike trail. Like we've had a lot of rain, we've had a lot of wind, we've had a lot of storms, so we've had trees down. You know, so we talk about those things, we mark those. People are able to let us know that we're aware of those things, and we can get in touch with the people who own and operate those trails and get them cleared. So kind of the same thing with waterways, having those access points spelled out for people will really make a difference, make it safer for everyone, easier for everyone to enjoy and feel comfortable.
So there's so much to talk about, and I know we got to get into historic preservation and all that, but I do want to ask you, because you have been forever promoting our waterways, just like our recreational trails.
Water trails and our biking and hiking trails,
right.
Yes.
So last week, the Oil Creek Classic took place, and they brought in a speaker from...
All of these like acronym things.
Okay.
Just all you have to know is John Knight is like the guy you go to talk about fishing tournaments.
And to put tournaments on.
In this country and internationally.
Correct. So
and he had a picture of himself with Jimmy Carter. So
okay.
Legit.
So sure. So he comes in, and he had a chance to kind of go around and look at what we have here, and was blown away and was like, hey, boy, you could be doing this. These are things you've been saying. You've been saying, hey, 2 Mile Run, that's a great place. Justice Lake, that's a great spot.
Absolutely. In terms of like just your everyday angler, or if you want to invite somebody from out of town to come fish the oil region with you, they're not going to be disappointed. We've got great amenities for that here. Absolutely. What John Knight was talking about was all the ways that we could expand, host other fishing competitions. He's one of those people that's working hard to try and get fishing into the Olympics, which again, it makes sense. Why isn't it? So it was a really interesting presentation to hear that. Also really great to hear him say, between the Allegheny, Oil Creek, French Creek, and Justice Lake, we've got what it would take to be able to host some of these events.
Major
and then
things.
when you're hosting those events, you're bringing in a ton of people, you're creating opportunities, you're of course kind of evangelizing young people into outdoor recreation and being environmentalists and good stewards of the land and the water, which of course we want, because we want to preserve these natural assets for generations to come. So a lot of really encouraging words. So that's very exciting. It was great to see the Oil Creek Classic have its biggest year yet. I think they had 40 anglers, and they limit it to 50, so they're almost like maxing out their capacity, because they have to have the controller with two competitors. So you can't just have 200 people fishing, because then you need 100 people.
But if you could get those volunteers, that'd be great.
Right. Yes. If we get to that point, or something bigger than that. So awesome to see that. And people who turned out for Community Day, that was part of that, again, benefiting Titusville Rotary. I think they had like 400 people on the train. I have never seen so many people on the Drakewell Train Depot platform as I did Saturday. I mean, really, it was a ton of people.
Well, Farm
really
to Fork, you get a lot of...
Farm to Fork gets a lot, but not that many. And we cut that off long before that number.
Yeah,
because we have to feed them. But it's a great event. It's a great night. Keep that on your calendar and top of your mind to get your tickets. September 20th is that event. Saturday, September 20th. Third Saturday of September. Third. That's 1, 2, 3,
months.
not 4. No, the third Saturday of September.
I'm saying it's 4 months.
Oh, 4 months. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like it's...
We got to get ready.
It's
we have
coming.
a chef. We have the same chef coming back. We're in good shape. It'll be an awesome event. But also then, so going back to the John Knight presentation makes us even more excited that we're bringing in the Kayak Adventure Series, which is not a fly fishing tournament. It's a tournament where people fish from their kayaks in a 50-mile radius from Franklin. So more details are coming out about that all the time. That'll be September 11th, 12th, 13th out of Franklin. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really exciting. And again, another fun time to be downtown and be part of the kind of family festival friendly excitement that's going to go on along with that. That's open to the public. You don't even have to like fishing or participate. You can come down, enjoy some food and music and activities for kids.
Yep.
but also then create this welcoming environment, because we do want these kind of events coming to the oil
Like
region.
Rockin' River.
Exactly, like Rockin' River, which is having its 25th anniversary
That's
this
insane.
August. It is insane, but very cool.
All
These
right.
special events, these things that tie in with our outdoor recreation, they're a really big deal. We're really fortunate to have them. So again, when you're a local person and you know these events are coming, be welcoming, be engaging, be encouraging, because it's great that these people come to our community to have the activities that they're so excited about having and participate here. We love that. We want them to come back for more.
Well, you've got people coming back and buying properties and doing great things with them, or maybe
Absolutely.
they've lived here all their lives.
I mean, and some of them, yes, sometimes it's a little bit of both. But yeah, we had the Historic Preservation Awards Wednesday night. We had 7 honorees. They were awesome, kind of throughout the oil region. I don't know what else. Okay, so Samuel F. Dale House. I love that you have a visual aid for me. So Molly and Bob.
Well, you provided one for me with the life preserver.
With the life vest. Yes, it's a special
the only-
visual
yeah.
that's going to stick with you for a while. So Molly and Bob purchased this house in Franklin and have been restoring it both inside and outside. And the way the Historic Preservation Awards work is for private residences. We really can only honor you for work you've done to the exterior, because that's the part that, the community can also enjoy.
Did they show like a before picture?
Yes, in the slideshow from the event and in the programs, we had some befores. And like from this distance, it's harder to tell what they've changed, because at least this structure was pretty square from the outside. Sometimes things are pretty dilapidated, but when you get up close, like the slate roof was replaced and repaired to the original pattern.
Wow.
Like the pointing, the brickwork, those rounded top windows, all kinds of things to the carriage house as well. I was thinking they thought they were like 80% done, but maybe not quite. But I mean, people drive by and tell them what a great job they're doing, because they really are. It looks great. So if you haven't driven by that neighborhood in Franklin, go check that out, because it's
beautiful,
gorgeous. Yeah, and that's like what we like to see, right? People restoring these parts of our community that really connect to our history and our heritage and keep it alive. So that's a great one. What do you have? Do you want to go through them all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I'm inspired when, like, anybody who goes to these things, I think it inspires them a little bit to, even if they have a beautiful property, go home. Hey, you know what? Maybe we're gonna repaint a room, or we're gonna do something. I usually come home and I'm thinking, I'm gonna move the couch out of my yard.
It's a start.
It's a
right?
start.
I thought you were going to say, I'm going to mow my yard. That's kind of my thing. So Carl Feely, another wonderful example and one of our awardees this year, maintains the landscaping around the McKinney Road Arch, which if you travel Route 8 in the Cherry Tree neighborhood, you'll see that regularly. It's just off of Route 8. It was moved when the road was realigned. And so since like 2012, Carl has been mowing and caring for the landscaping of that monument, which is a really cool thing. And he's a fun guy and was very like surprised but appreciative of this recognition. But like, it's great. And again, going back to like, it's hard enough for some of us to keep our own lawns mowed. And here's Carl, like just kind of his own time and money keeping that cleaned up for us, which is great. Then Lois Parsons, who wasn't able to be with us, but thankfully her son Jay accepted on her behalf, honoring all of Lois's kind of lifetime of historic preservation and promotion, as well as her artwork that she's done of like City Hall and Tarbell House. And most importantly, from an ORA perspective, or closest to our heart, is that she was kind of the person who started the whole Tarbell House saving, in terms of when the house was going up for sale. She wanted to make sure that it didn't just get bought by any old person and torn down, but to make sure that it was purchased and restored and preserved. And of course, now looking back, we all know the ORA did that and continues to use that property. And it's a real asset to our community. So hats off to Lois for sure.
And again, for those who just drive by and think there's nothing going on, the Tarbell teas are sold out like all the time.
We sold out all 3 spring teas this year within like a month of tickets being on sale. So like a month before we even had the first tea. Yeah,
and people are coming in from out of town for these things.
Absolutely. Well, they're really cool. Like you get to go into the house, you get to be a little nebby and see what it looks like, and it's neat for sure. Really cool architecture in there and furnishings. The students do an awesome job recreating, like reenacting actual people from that period of time. So they're sharing real history there. And you get to eat a lot of food for, I think it's a $20 ticket. It's a good deal. It's very entertaining and a lot of fun and worth a drive from a couple hours away.
That's
so we'll
right.
have fall tea schedules out for you in the fall.
Okay.
We'll circle back with dates on that. Warner's Bakery, again, a Titusville spot, and if you've driven by lately, you know it's really undergone a lot of improvement. Hillary Hanna's done an awesome job here, and we're excited to honor her with the improvements to the exterior of Warner's Bakery.
Very classy, from the awning to the paint to everything. It just looks nice.
Yeah, it does. And then the fact that there's like pastry in the window doesn't hurt either.
No.
Right? All businesses should put sweets in their window.
I think Amy was saying this morning that tomorrow is Donut Day or National Donut Week or something like that. Yeah.
I could have been wearing donuts. Here I am in a life vest.
Yeah.
Kind of I'm wearing donuts, though. I
Yeah.
mean, if you get philosophical about it. Wildcat Mansion. Oh, thanks, Luke. Wildcat Mansion. If you haven't gone to an event here, you've got to go and see how gorgeous it is. John Bernstein owns it, operates it as like an arts venue and entertainment space. There's also lodging available. He's hosting weddings. Most of the proms photos were taken there, if not events held in the ballroom. And it's just a really cool story. And he is really like getting excited about the history of that property and sort of the theatrical opportunities of it, the connections with John Wilkes Booth and Ida Tarbell. You definitely need to check that out. So get on their website, pay attention to their schedule, and get to an event at the Wildcat Mansion.
I don't even think I took a break. Hold on. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Emily Altomare with us from the Oil Region Alliance. I was there when it was Turning Point. Not for that, but we were there to do a film project with them. And it is absolutely gorgeous inside. I really didn't get a chance to explore a lot of it, but the possibilities there, I'm sure, are endless.
Right. And I think with John's mind, it also kind of the possibilities are endless. Like there's nothing I don't think he would consider. But it's gorgeous. And also we have photos in the presentation, but not here for you. But if you haven't seen the Wildcat mural on the side of the building, kind of on that addition, it's enormous and really cool, kind of this like almost pop arty, but like Victorian people with Wildcat. It's really neat. So again, check that out for sure.
Awesome.
Was there more?
That was.
Did we go through them all? That went really quickly. No, the barn. The Anderson Miles barn. You don't have that one in there?
Not.
Oh, it's because tomorrow. It's the post for tomorrow on Facebook. You're going through. Well, we did one a day. We had 7.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So that's okay. The Anderson Miles barn. Scott and Lee Anderson have been caring for it. So again, just what would our Western Pennsylvania landscape be without these big, beautiful barns? But they're all, more than 100 years old. They're super expensive to maintain, but thankfully some people like the Andersons are, and we wanted to recognize that too. So they repainted and did some repairs with things like water infiltration and stuff like that to keep it strong, healthy, and again, this big, beautiful monument to our agricultural history. Gotta love a brightly, freshly painted barn. Just feels good.
Well, we just had a guest on earlier that talked about they tried so hard to save their garage barn structure, and every engineering firm said no, it's coming down, but they're going to rebuild it almost
in the style of what it was.
Well, so you have to appreciate that, right?
Right, exactly. Like that they're not just going to put like a metal prefab something. Like they're still trying to be respectful of the style and the history. Absolutely. There's only so much you can do, but it's always good when people reach out and try and at least, do as much as you can or save, even if there's just elements that you can keep. Like
they're taking it down
piece by piece.
Piece by
Yeah,
piece, so.
yeah, very cool.
Real quick, National Trails Day is coming up the 7th. Anything else you want to add?
About National Trails Day?
About anything.
Just stay tuned for National Trails Day. We've got the 5 and 13 this weekend at Drake Well, Roughneck Gravel Roubaix, Memorial Day weekend. We're in that outdoor recreation competition season, so get out there, enjoy summer, and again, Water Safety Week. Get your life vest.
Yeah, and that's just so you can get back to your car because we did get a lot of rain
this morning.
Yeah. Emily, great to see you.
Great to
All the
see you
best
too.
with everything.
Thank
There's so
you.
much going on. I can't believe
I know. May's half over. It's always a busy time in the oil region.
crazy stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.
Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned a challenge to meet face-to-face with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky in Turkey on Thursday, instead sending a second-tier delegation to take part in talks in Istanbul. Zelensky in Ankara called the delegation decorative and a sign Putin was not serious about ending the war.
I think that the United States of America and Turkey feel Russian disrespect. That is my opinion. There is no time for a meeting, no agenda, no delegation of high level. It is personal disrespect. I am not talking about Russians disrespecting us, which is obvious anyway, but it is mutual in between us. But they are now here, so it is disrespect towards Erdogan, disrespect towards Trump.
Але вони тут. Неповага до Ердогана, неповага до Трампа.
Zelensky said he would not go to Istanbul, but would send a team headed by his defense minister with a mandate to discuss a ceasefire. Russia said its team was in Istanbul and ready for serious work and accused Ukraine of trying to put on a show. Talks were further undermined by U.S. President Donald Trump, who told reporters there would be no movement on peace talks in the absence of a meeting between himself and Putin.
I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together, but we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said it was too early to say if Putin would attend talks in the future. The warring sides have been wrestling for months over the logistics of ceasefires and peace talks. The last direct talks were held in March 2022. Hundreds of thousands have been killed and wounded on both sides in the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II. Washington has threatened repeatedly to abandon its mediation efforts unless there is clear progress.
Hi, I'm Ben Leach, a lifelong resident of Titusville. I truly love my community and this small town we call home. I'm a 13-year police officer and I've dedicated my career to public service and am honored to be running for magisterial district judge. A special thanks to my endorsements. Your support and belief in me means so much. Thanks also to my incredible family and friends for always standing by me. Your encouragement gives me the strength to serve with integrity and purpose. I ask for your vote Tuesday, May 20th in the primary election. Thank you.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
Hi, I'm Heather Roberts, and I'm running to be your next magisterial district judge. I was born and raised right here in Titusville and went on to earn a degree from Penn State University in crime, law, and justice. I began my career in victim services, working with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, helping them to navigate the justice system with strength, compassion, and dignity. Today, I work as a paralegal in family and personal injury law. I'm a proud mom of 3, and my husband Jack and I are proud to call Titusville home. I humbly ask for your vote and your support on May 20th at the primary election. Thank you.
U.S. stocks finished mixed Thursday, with the Dow rising about 2/3%, the S&P 500 adding 0.4, and the Nasdaq slipping marginally. Data showed U.S. retail sales growth slowed in April, while a separate report showed producer price inflation unexpectedly fell last month. That followed a relatively tame consumer price reading earlier in the week. But John Creekmur, Chief Investment Officer with Creekmur Wealth Advisors, said investors are still waiting for more data to see how the economic picture is developing.
Right now, the market's trying to figure things out. We do foresee some instability throughout the rest of the summertime. We're going to have to see how the economic numbers play out, both from employment, sales, and then also with the overall economy. Are we GDP? Are we expanding? Are we retracting a little bit? That'll give us some gauge on where things are going. Right now, caution is the most important word of the day.
Stocks on the move included Cisco Systems, which jumped almost 5% after the networking company raised its annual forecast, driven by the artificial intelligence boom. Shares of United Health plunged almost 11% to a 5-year low after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Department of Justice was conducting a criminal investigation into the company for possible Medicare fraud. United Health said it had not been informed of a criminal probe by federal prosecutors. And shares of Walmart ended lower but recovered from steeper losses earlier in the session after the retail giant warned it would start raising prices later this month due to tariffs, even after first quarter U.S. comparable sales beat expectations.
Well, it's nice to see him in person, in studio. It's Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Nice to be back, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's good. I said yesterday, I'm going to be in the studio tomorrow. No more of this in my PJs in front of my computer monitor. We're going to go in and do it live.
Well, glad you're here.
Yeah, good to be here.
And in regular clothes and not your PJs.
Exactly. No PJs, yeah.
Big week this week.
Yeah. Steelers schedule's out. Yeah. You notice it was it's a primetime event. Schedule's a primetime event. Is there anything that the NFL does that's not primetime?
No. And when you get through and when you start talking about the schedule, even the matchups are very well considered because they're looking for those storylines.
They are. Yeah, they are. In fact, the first game they're playing is against the Jets. Justin Fields, former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, their quarterback. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. If
Mr. Rodgers is there.
And if not, you still have the Justin Fields angle.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And the talk is that he was the quarterback they wanted to sign, but they weren't going to give him $20 million, so he went where the money was at. That's the story.
Yeah. And you don't blame somebody.
Hey, $20 million. You know?
Absolutely.
It's not chump change.
So, Jets week 1.
Yep. Seattle week 2 at home. Jets are away. Seattle's home. At New England, they're kind of a building team. And then they have a Sunday, September 26th in Dublin, Ireland. And Ireland's considered a home game for them now. They're really locked into this Irish thing because Rooney's Irish.
Hey, real quick, go back to the Seahawks, right? They're playing Seattle.
That's where Metcalf came from.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where Metcalf came from. So you can see the storylines are there. Yep, absolutely. Then after Minnesota, on a Sunday morning, they have a week off, and then they play Cleveland at home. Then they go to Cincinnati. That's a Thursday night game, which is on the 16th. Then it's 10 days before they play Green Bay on Sunday night on the 26th. So they have a 10-day period between those two games. And then the rest of the season is pretty much they play Indianapolis at home on November 2nd. Then they go to the Chargers, which is a Sunday night game on the 9th. The 16th, they're home against Cincinnati. Then they go to Chicago on the 23rd. Then they come home, play Buffalo. That's a 4:25 game. And by the way, the Chargers game was a Sunday night game. Then after Buffalo, they're at Baltimore. And then on Monday night, on the 16th, they play Miami at home. And then they go to Detroit on the 21st, Cleveland on the 28th, and then they come home for Baltimore, and that's to be determined what time it'll be, depending upon the races and all that stuff. So they have a Thursday night game, 2 Sunday night games, a Monday night game, a Sunday morning game, and 2 afternoon games, 4 o'clock, 4:25 games. So they're in prime time a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
But you get into it, and there could be some flexing that goes on where...
Right, yeah, that end of the schedule can all be flexed. Like that Detroit game might be flexed. That could be a big game.
No Thanksgiving, no Christmas this year.
Thank God. Yeah. You get those days. You get to go be with your family, which I think... And I get it. These guys make a lot of money, but, boy, they really don't care much about the players' families.
Well, a year ago, we were but having a conversation about how tough of a schedule the Steelers had, in addition to playing on the holidays, and it made it rough.
And they played 3 games in 10 days. Yeah. 3 games in 10 days against really good teams, and I think they didn't win any of them. They didn't win any of them.
Wow.
So
now, Are they playing the Hall of Fame game?
No.
The preseason?
No. No, they're not. No. They start with Jacksonville on Saturday the 9th at Jacksonville. They come home, play Tampa Bay on the 16th, and then the 21st, which is a Thursday, they're at Carolina. And now, that final week, all games are on Thursday, so they have the long weekend to get ready for the regular season. So all the season's over on Thursday, August 21st.
All right.
For all teams.
So you mentioned some of those, some of your thoughts on the schedule. What else did you kind of see when you saw this? What are some games that stand out to you?
Well, I think the Minnesota game in Ireland is an interesting game. They're going to play Green Bay. They don't play them very often. That's going to be a good game. That's a Sunday night. They're going out to the West Coast. They're playing the Chargers. That's Harbaugh. That's always an interesting game. And, of course, the Baltimore games. They're always interesting. They're at the end of the season, one on the 7th and then one in January. So they play both the Baltimore games late. So, and then Detroit. Detroit's a good team. I'm interested to see how they handle Detroit. They were one of the top teams last year. For the first time in a long time, they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a really good team. So,
and the expectations for them this year are
high.
Yeah. And same with the Commanders.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of teams, I guess you could say, that the expectations are every team with the fan base, obviously.
Yeah.
But
what's interesting about the NFL is that you can go from the outhouse to the penthouse pretty quickly. If you get a couple of draft picks and you have a good year from a young quarterback, all of a sudden you can propel yourself into the playoffs. So it's a lot different than other sports.
What are we missing with the quarterback talk right now? Because there's a lot out there, Bruce. Do you find that fans will have patience if Mason's the starter and this is the season this is what we have?
I think so.
Knowing that the possibilities next year could be something else.
It looks like they're going to trade up and and there's some really good quarterbacks out there for next year. And I like this Drew Aller from Penn State. I think he's going to be a top pick. And there's like 3 or 4 others. I think they will have some patience. But knowing Smith and knowing Tomlin, and I think it really comes down to their offensive line. If they can run the ball effectively, their quarterback doesn't have to be the star. He just has to be a good player, make plays you need to make. And I want to talk about this Johnson kid. This Caleb Johnson's a heck of a player. He really is. I think he could be the next. I think he could. I'm not predicting, but I think he could be the next running back star in Pittsburgh. He's just an incredible specimen, and he's incredibly strong. His 40 time was slow. It was 4.57, which is considered slow. But if you look at his top speed, it's 22 miles an hour. He's one of the fastest people in pro football. He just gets off to a slow start. But if you watch him in the open, and go watch his tape, ladies and gentlemen, he just runs over people. I mean, he has great vision. He knows how to get through traffic. He knows the right path to take. And I saw one place where 3 guys had their hands on him. He scored a touchdown. He spun around, ran down the field, scored a touchdown. And when he's in the open field, he runs away from people. So top end speed, he's really quick. And he's big. He's bigger than Najee Harris. He's bigger than Le'Veon Bell, which a lot of people compare him to.
Wow.
Very patient. But I think he's going to be a heck of a player for the Steelers. I think he fits perfectly into Arthur Smith's offense and also protecting a young quarterback. If you can run the ball. It's like I go back to Cowher's first year in the league. He had Barry Foster and Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback, and Neil O'Donnell was his first-year starter, 2 years in the league. Well, Barry Foster was the show. He was the show. Almost 1,700 yards. They really leaned on him. Neil O'Donnell didn't have to be the star, and I think that's the paradigm for this year. Have a good running game, protect your quarterback.
Well, yeah. So let me ask you this. A lot coming out this week on Pickens, and you start to see, there's larger issues than initially thought.
Yeah, really.
Now, somebody had posted that in terms of Metcalf versus Pickens might be more talented or younger. Yes. However, you're not going to have the issues, and that That's more of a problem than anything.
Metcalf is the better football player.
More productive.
Pickens is the better athlete, more talented. But you know what you're going to get with Metcalf. You didn't know what you're going to get with Pickens. You just didn't. He might play one play, might play one game. Some games he would disappear. You wouldn't even see him at all. But you're not going to get that with Metcalf. He's a pro's pro. I like the idea of them being on the outside together. I really did, but I think the team's better without him, without the distraction. And I still think that they're going to bring in another wide receiver, maybe a pretty good one. So they got the money. They're not strapped for cash.
Yeah. They seem to have something that a lot of teams don't have, and that's patience.
Right.
That they're okay with what they have. The fan base needs to learn. This just might be that year.
The fan base needs to be a little more patient. Yeah.
This year, yeah. And maybe it's next year's draft where they're going to be able to stock up on some things. Right.
But I really think this quarterback Howard I think he's going to have a long career in the NFL. Whether it's a starter or backup, I don't know. But he's going to play in the NFL. And I don't think he's chump change. I think he's got some talent. I mean, you look, he took Kansas State to a championship in the Big 12, and he took Ohio State to the national championship. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good resume. He had championships with two different teams in two different conferences. And the Big Ten is a good conference. You're playing against really good teams. And he...
You know what I've really enjoyed about this? No conversation about hand size.
No. Good God. Yeah, quarterback to hand size, tackles its length of arms. He's got short arms. He can't play. All right, sure. Whatever.
Yeah. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson with us here this morning. Anything else with the Steelers or the schedule?
I think that's it. Now we're just waiting till I think the next thing is mini camp, which comes up in June, and then I think they're done at the end of June, and then there's that period of time before the season starts toward the end of July. But it's not that far away. We're in May. This is the 15th of May, so we're 2 months away from the opening of training camp. So it's coming fast. So. Anyway,
I saw an article yesterday, the day before, saying that Penguins might have a problem finding a coach. Like, nobody wants to coach.
Yeah, I you know how I feel about firing Sullivan. I think it was the biggest mistake they ever made, and I don't think they're going to bring in anybody that's better than Sullivan. I don't think they're going to be as good as Sullivan. I really don't. And yeah, who's going to coach there? You know why? The expectations are high. It's a really high expectation team. And if you go there, I could see maybe a really talented young coach wanting to get a shot at it. And I think that's probably who they're going to wind up with. But
is it the expectation up against the ownership? And
yeah, it's not a person. It's a corporation, which I think is a problem. And because who you can say, well, that's Fenway Sports Group. Well, with Pittsburgh, it's the Rooneys. With the Pirates, it's the Nuttings. But with the Penguins, it's like, who? Fenway Sports Group? Who's that? I just think a corporate-run team is going to be run differently than a local ownership-run team. That's just my take. But what I know, I'm dumb sweet, so I don't know anything.
Well, it'll be interesting, I guess.
Yes.
And you're right.
So you've heard that they're having a hard time finding a coach.
Well, I saw an article, but I didn't really dive into it a whole lot, other than it could be a challenge. I mean, again, who are you going to find? And you're spot on. Maybe you find that younger person who, hey, here's an opportunity. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Sullivan was a pretty young coach when he came. He had coached a couple years in Boston, but he really hadn't coached a lot, and he was young, and they had brought him in to coach the Wilkes-Barre team. And then when they got rid of Johnson, their then head coach, they just brought him up, and, of course, they immediately went to the Stanley Cup. But that was an incredibly talented team. They were loaded with talent. And I got to say this again, and I've said this before on the show. You got to have talented players to win. You can't win with average players. I don't care who the coach is. You need talent to win. Good coaches can bring that talent out. And my example I'll give is that Chuck Noll in the 70s won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years because he had this super uber talented football team. But in the 80s, when he didn't have all that talent, he rarely won. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Stay tuned to see what happens there. Anything with the Pirates?
I know the Pirates are going through a tough time.
No.
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
Yeah. And I know people are pretty discouraged, but there's a lot of young talent on this team, and we just kind of got to wait for them to grow up. I think this team in the not too far distant future is going to be really good, and their pitching staff is going to be great. They got a ton of good young pitching, and that's how you win. And I really like that they have a player in the minors called Connor Griffin. They drafted him was it last year? Oh my goodness, he's going to be good. I think he's going to be as good as McCutcheon. He's a kid. He's a tall kid. He can run. He's got a great arm. He's got contact with the ball. He's playing shortstop now. I think he's going to wind up in center field, but he's going to be a star. He's already starring in the minors. I mean, right out the bat, he's playing well. He's stealing bases, making things happen. Connor Griffin, don't forget that name. And then there's another kid, Chandler, who's having a great year at AAA. They're going to be bringing him up pretty soon. And the thing I've noticed lately, Luke, is that early in the season there was a lot of blowouts. There's no more blowouts. They're losing 2-1, 3-2, and they're just a hit here, hit there from winning. But the pitching has righted itself, so they're pitching well. Their bullpen, even Bednar's playing well now. So
yeah,
so
it's too bad. Skeens has had some good outings. It's the closers that aren't helping him.
Yes. Yeah, he leaves it. He had one bad game where I think he gave up 3 runs in 4 innings, but that's not bad, But I mean, he's not going to be perfect. This is the majors.
Yeah,
you're not going to be good every night.
And here in year 2 for him, you start to settle in a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So, Pirates fans, they like to get excited, and
well, I mean.
I should say I'm a Pirate fan.
Well, I mean, I say look at the Los Angeles Angels. They're a big team with lots of money, and they never win. They're the worst team in the AL or American League West. And then the Colorado Rockies have only won 7 games. That's a smaller market. Chicago White Sox, another big money team. They're in last place.
And they have the Pope behind them.
Yeah. How many people get the Pope behind them? That's right. We have an American Pope now.
Yeah.
First time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Hey, Preakness this weekend.
Yeah.
We didn't talk much about the Kentucky Derby, but we do have the Preakness coming up.
Yeah, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby
Sovereignty
is out, and the guy, the horse he beat is the favorite for the Preakness.
Journalism?
Journalism, yep.
Okay.
He's the favorite for the Preakness. So we'll see. I don't think there's any real super horse out there this year, but hey, it's the Preakness,
Not the Kentucky Derby, but
not the Kentucky Derby. And then the Belmont comes on in June. I think the first week of June. I think there's 2 weeks between the Derby and the Preakness, and I think there's 3 weeks between the Preakness and the Belmont. So, and if you've never watched the greatest racehorse of all time, Secretariat, go Google him on YouTube. His 3 races. He still holds the time record for all 3 of those races. Still.
Yeah, and I think I told you last week, I read that all the horses in the Kentucky Derby were related to Secretariat.
Yeah, he was a sire for somewhere in the bloodlines. Yeah, he sired, I think, 600 colts.
Jeez.
Yeah. He was prolific.
It's like the Osmonds. There's just so many of them.
Oh, my God, he was a good horse, though. He was a good horse. And when they did the autopsy, his heart was like 3 times larger than a normal horse. So he had this huge engine which gave him all this oxygen to run. That's why he could run so fast and so far. He really was a super horse. So, and when he won the Belmont, which is the longest race they ever run, 1.5 miles, he won it by 31 lengths, which was unheard of. And no horse since then has even come close to the time. He took almost 3 seconds off the fastest time in the Belmont when he ran it. Think about that.
It's fun to watch. It's exciting.
And the movie, if you really want to if you really want to understand the story, go watch the movie Secretariat. It's really well done, and they really show you Penny Chenery, the lady that owned him, and her father had died, and so she shepherded him through this process. And it's a great story. It's a great story. Secretariat.
All right,
highly recommend it.
So that's going on this weekend. You got the PGA Championship going on this weekend. First round started yesterday, so. Yeah, there's some things going on. Baseball, basketball playoffs.
And the weather's nice
hockey.
now. I was out last night. It's beautiful.
Well, yeah, but it's starting to shift. Next week's not going to be.
Yeah, next week doesn't look good at all. At all. What's that all about?
Bruce, it is great seeing you this morning.
I'll be here next week.
Good to see you.
All right, you too, buddy.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Glad you were with us here this morning. This is the Morning Drill.